Welcome once again to Boomer Bongo Boulevard. We've been away for a few days, but hey, Ron, it's the holidays.
Yes, it is.
I'm Mike, just Mike. Along with me is my brother, Ron, just Ron. We give you the boomer spin on a lot of things. And before we do that, though, make sure that you remember to hit the subscribe button. Apparently, that's important. So hit it.
It's
We've got
very
16
important.
subscribers. And we'd like to have more. And hit the like button, smash that, and anything else you see to smash, just start smashing stuff. And
I know we're
it's
only like 100,000 subscribers off from actually, making 50 cents or something every time we do
yeah,
this.
50 cents a show. So, and
I
we
don't know
just
what you make, but hey, I
hey,
want to
we
make
just
it.
want to
I just want to make it just to make it.
get our message out.
Yeah,
And we don't even have a message, so that's the
we
best
don't.
part. But hey, just get some friends at work tomorrow. Just dial us up, Boomer Bungo Boulevard on YouTube. Just get them to do it, and even if they're never going to watch again, hit the subscribe button, and just to be an outlaw. Just if you want to feel like an outlaw, just
It's a
subscribe. And
message of joy.
yes, it is. It's joy. We're all about joy in this holiday season. Last time we were talking about westerns and how popular they were, and why we thought they might be. Why they got as popular as they did. We're going to finish that up, and then we're going to talk a little about the holidays and stuff we did, and a few things like that. We'll try not to go
Call it a
too
holiday potpourri. How about
a
that?
holiday potpourri. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And but Ron, we were talking about cowboy shows, and there were a lot of
Yeah.
reasons the cowboy shows were there. I think a lot of things in TV, especially since so much of it was done out in California, then it still is just the what you got to work with. And we
Yeah.
talked about last time how many people were had grown up riding horses back in that
Yeah.
day, back in the 50s. And when they were younger, they had horses, and they rode horses, and they used horses for transportation, or they knew a little bit about them, or their grandparents had them. And so people were very comfortable around horses, and you could do a lot of things with a Western setting. And action. It translated well to television, which was young at the time. They were looking for
Yeah.
things that showed things going on instead of everybody just sitting around the table. But it all faded out. And I don't know what reasons. Why do you think it faded out? It's gone now. The Western's gone. It's
Well,
barely hanging on.
I think one of my things I thought it was sort of a cultural thing because you had all the anti-war stuff, the hippie stuff, and that
Right.
just didn't seem to really go with the guy in the white hat versus the guy in the black hat because it was more of an anti-hero time, and you weren't really sure who the good guys were anymore in life or on television anymore.
Right.
It just kind of, it's cyclical, and it just, the culture was changing.
Well, and I was looking over a list of why the Western died out, and I think as much as anything, um, women. More women were getting on TV. They were
Could be,
politically
yeah,
more active. Yeah, and it was just hard, and it still is hard to work a female into a Western. It's just
yeah,
it looks kind of incongruous when the female is out there, beating up the good.
yeah.
A 5'6", 120-pound woman. They punch people in the jaw, but every guy that sees it is laughing on the inside. I
And the
know
women
nobody.
too. That's my wife's pet peeve is women punching or beating up men in movies. She's just
Oh
like,
my God!
oh, come on.
I mean, it can be done
Yeah,
if somebody's highly skilled and they manage to
yeah,
get a hold of an iron bar
yeah,
and get a swing away. But their swing, if you could just be a guy watching a woman swing at you, it's like watching it in slow motion.
yeah.
And you can block it. Anyway, but women just didn't fit in. I mean, you had Miss Kitty and a few characters. I mean, you're hard pressed to come up with very many female characters in those
Yeah.
old West movies. And most of the time, it was a damsel in distress kind of
Well,
role.
they were going to be super cliched because back in the old West, pretty much most of the women they were prostitutes or
Well,
because they were, I mean,
you had some
unless the guy drug his wife out there with him
right.
out on the out across the country, but a lot of them didn't. Most of them didn't. In
But
fact, most of those guys, a lot of those guys married prostitutes.
yeah,
I know
I
the Earps
suppose
did.
you you seem to know a lot about this. I'm just
I watch a lot of Western shows, you know,
okay.
Western documentaries. Like, well, there's a really good one now that Kelsey Grammer hosts. It's like something myths and lies of
Oh
the
yeah,
Old West, Civil War,
sure.
all that stuff. Yeah,
Well, um, so the '70s rock around, and that's about when the westerns started fading out. '50s and
yeah,
'60s they were big time, and there were still a few around in the '70s. And
Mhm.
but my goodness, you know what else was around in the '70s? Mary Tyler Moore Show,
yep.
Julia, the nurse, um, Rhoda, uh, the spinoff from Mary Tyler Moore, all the family comedies
Sitcoms were
that got
taking
big.
over. Yeah,
Yeah, and a lot of the sitcoms were devoted to
yeah,
female characters, and it just provided a more balanced
yeah,
screen and brought more women to the game as far as
yeah,
watching TV. Probably created a few arguments about what to watch back in the one TV per family days, but it just and the plot lines had about dried up for the western, and these single women like Mary Tyler Moore out in the world had a lot of different ways to go, and a lot of things opened up that you could write about, and no wonder the western faded out.
yeah. And you know, women did take over TV a lot during the '70s because you know
Sure,
you
they did.
had on one hand you had the shows like Mary Tyler Moore, Rhoda Phyllis. You had that you know were a little more sophisticated, but then over here you had the infamous TV shows that were known as Jiggle TV.
Oh, sure.
Which you had
Charlie's
Three's
Angels.
Company, you had
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels,
Yep.
you know, and you know some of the women didn't wear bras, you know, and they
Once again,
you
you
know
really studied this. I'm impressed.
I'm a TV
The
aficionado, man.
Well, another thing too, Ron, just lack of actors with horsemanship. You just
Mhm.
the longer you went, the further you got away from the turn
Yeah,
of the century. The fewer actors knew how to ride, and a lot of actors didn't want to do it. It was hot and dirty work.
yeah,
Who wants to go outside when you can be in a nice air conditioned
yeah,
studio? Liability on
yeah.
a western had to be 10 times what it was
Oh, absolutely.
shooting a sitcom or an hour drama or anything along those lines. We talked about the overexposure. There were just too many freaking westerns, and
Yeah,
people were getting tired of them. They're like, "Oh, not another western." Plus, some of the westerns were silly. The tricked out guns they used, and
yeah,
it just got more and more ridiculous. The oh, John Wayne's massive influence and Clint Eastwood's massive
yeah,
influence in the movies. People were still going to go see a movie,
yeah,
but there was nobody to compare with Clint Eastwood on
yeah,
TV. They tried,
yeah.
but couldn't really pull it off. McLeod was pretty good, but he's no Clint Eastwood. I mean, Dennis Weaver's
But
no
that was a
Clint.
real off the wall. That wasn't really even a western. That was just kind of a the fish out of water story, and it
Yeah,
had kind
yeah,
of western thing, you know, because he would ride his horse, or they would always do something where they could really incorporate a western theme into
into
the city. You know,
yeah, right.
like I remember him and this guy was like supposed to be like a modern day, like it was the guy was trying to act like he was Jesse James or whatever, and I remember him fighting him on top of a stagecoach going down like you know
You're
one of the
talking
main
about McLeod.
drags in New York City. You know,
You're talking about McLeod, right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and so anyway, that's what happened to them, and they're not coming back for those
Mm-mm.
reasons. You're never going to have a dominance of a theme that it's hard to fit women actors into. And
Yeah,
hey, the men found out too. They like watching, like you were talking, Charlie's Angels. They like watching shows that had women in them,
yeah,
and women are hilarious
yeah,
in situation comedies and or a more serious drama where the woman can occasionally, you're looking for a little lightheartedness sometimes, and a female character is good for lighthearted uh,
yeah,
banter back and forth between the characters. I was thinking about Elspeth, which is a new show, hasn't been on but a couple of years, and it's female lead detective show, and she's hilarious. The actress, I can't think of her name, but my gosh, she's hilarious in it, and you just don't get that with the guys. The guys tend to make things a little overly dramatic. In fact,
Now, I'll tell you something that I thought about this not too terrible long ago, but it's kind of a little trope that comes up with women in, especially in comedies. Okay, Mary Tyler Moore was like this. Elaine was like this on Seinfeld. Almost any attractive woman you can think of in a comedy was like this. Every woman that was on Cheers was like this. You know, Shelley Long. Um, Gosh, I can't. The one that played Rebecca, I can't even think of her name. Gosh,
oh,
man,
Rebecca,
Kirstie Alley. Yeah, man,
Christy
she
L.
was like this. But anyway, they never make the beautiful women confident. There's always like something wrong with them, or they're neurotic.
Well, so are the
Always,
guys, but we just don't spot it in the
you know.
guys quite as
Yeah.
quick.
Well, it's like Mary
Sam was neurotic.
wasn't
Come on.
confident. She was good at her job, but she was always neurotic and
Yeah.
and full of like self doubt, and that's what made her funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I guess it's because the only thing I can figure is because if they made her too confident, she would be unlikable.
That's true. And male characters in situation comedies are kind of the opposite. They're confident when they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Sam Malone, I always knew things were going to work out, even though
yeah,
what his IQ was about 102, I guess.
yeah,
He was so sure it was
yeah,
going to work out, and it usually did. That little smirk and
yeah.
uh,
And if a beautiful woman was confident, she was the bad guy. It was like on the 30 Rock, the blonde girl on there was like the star of the show that Tina Fey wrote for.
mhm.
She was a complete jerk. You know,
she had the
she
guy
was a
wrong.
self-absorbed jerk.
Hey, but then you had Frasier, the neurotic psychiatrist, which
Yeah.
just broke all the molds, and that's why Frasier was on TV for so long. Hey, so it's holiday time, and we got on the road. We went up to Ohio, and I went to, as I keep flashing my mug, which I've had here before. I've had this mug for a long time, but I actually went to my first Buc-ee's. This was a gift from my son, who is a Buc-ee aficionado. And what kind of Bucky drink was that you were drinking there? You poured it up.
Let's see. This is Big K Citrus Drop from Kroger.
Ah,
Zero
well,
sugar, of course, like all
of
my drinks
course.
are.
Anyway, well, I'm not drinking any sugar. I'm drinking black coffee. Flashback to the old coffee and slippers. But we went into Bucky's, and I had never been, and of course we went going up. They had a new one, a brand new one, and I don't think probably you really want to go in a brand new Bucky's because it was really wall to wall. You couldn't even
Yeah,
find a place at the gas pumps, and they must have 100 gas pumps. We
yeah,
had to wait just for a minute for something to clear out, mainly because of the morons who pull into the gas pump and get their gasoline, and then they
yeah,
leave their car at the gas pump, even though
yeah,
it doesn't need to be there any longer. They don't go over to the 7,000 open parking spaces that aren't next to a gas pump.
yeah.
And don't get me started. It's too late. I'm already started. And and so we had to wait around for those idiots to clear out of the way. But when they did, we got a parking place and we got some
How do
gas.
the
And
waves?
then we moved
Yeah,
and parked. Went in and it's wall to wall, but it was kind of fun. It was really
no.
kind of fun. And we bought plenty of food and made a
Well, there's one
lunch.
thing that they're known for too. Like they're known for all their different kind of jerkies.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, every kind of jerky you can think of. And if you've never had the Bucky nuggets, those are pretty awesome.
yeah. I have. I've had those,
They
and like I
remind
said,
me
my
of sugar
son.
corn pops.
Right. My son drives all over, and he's brought them in before when he's been on
Yeah,
some kind of a trip or followed a team
yeah,
somewhere, something like that. And so we've eaten a lot of the food, but never
yeah.
got. You know what they didn't have though? Coconut haystacks. Those
Really,
those
I'm
coconut shredded
surprised.
coconut with
Yeah,
caramel over. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, they're great. They did not have I looked high and low. They did not have them. And I should have complained. They'd probably had a whole section of coconut haystacks later. I like the vanilla ones though, and they're hard to find anyhow. You can find the chocolate ones sometimes, but
Well, if you
they
ever
just
come and
about
visit me here,
disappear.
I'll have to take you to downtown McKinney. I guarantee you they have them in one of the candy shops down there because they have everything else. They
Yeah.
they have a couple of shops that all they have is all kind of different fudge and stuff like that. I
Well,
guarantee you there's something like that in there.
I think the coconut haystacks have gone the way of the Western. They've just faded out, but maybe there's a few. I can get on the internet and find some, but
Dude, I
I,
can actually
I don't
find them
resort to
at
that.
um they make them and put them on the Chinese buffet at a place I go to. I see them every time I
Yeah.
go there.
You know what else we did when we were up in Ohio? We were in Cincinnati, which is they have an amusement park there called Kings Island, which is regionally well known. A lot of other people have not heard of it. It's a nice amusement park, and they open it up in the winter, and they call it Winterfest. And they just open it up at night,
No.
and basically the park's just open, and they turn
Yeah.
all the lights. They have Christmas lights on everything,
Yeah.
and it was literally 21 degrees when we were there, and we were walking around, freezing. Rode a couple of rides, and
Yeah.
and mostly ate. And they have shows, and we went into the shows, and but it was actually kind of fun. It was fun. It was felt very Christmassy, and so that got us in the mood. And that's why I'm in the Christmas mood now. My living room is decorated. We've got a tree up. Which have you got your tree up yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah, well, I mean that's early for us. We usually do
Yeah.
like maybe a week before Christmas and then leave it up a couple of weeks after because we feel bad we only had it up for a week, and we feel sorry for our Christmas tree. We're like, oh, you only get to come out once a year, and we
Hmm.
don't need to just leave you up 4 days. But we've got a Christmas tree up, and we're doing some other decorations. So we're having and it's directly because we went to Winterfest at Kings
Yeah.
Island in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then last night, Ron, just Ron, we we went to a Christmas parade here in town. It's always the first
Christmas
Monday.
parade is the 14th. We usually go to that one. It's pretty good because there's always a bunch of old cars parked around too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They
And
had the this was the longest one we've had.
yeah.
I can't remember, and had a couple of local celebrities. We have a couple of Olympians, members of
Yeah.
the Olympic team. They're from this town, and those guys were the grand marshals, and that was for two guys, two different guys, and they
Yeah.
were medalists, both medalists, and so that was cool. But they always have the beauties, the
Yeah.
most beautiful from the local high school, and most beautiful from the
Mhm.
middle school, and most beautiful from different colleges. And
Yeah.
man, they had the best cars for them this time. There was somebody that one of the beauties came by in a Cadillac. There was like maybe a 1962
Nice.
Cadillac, and that thing was a couple of inches short of 200 yards long. It was the longest car I've ever seen in my life. It was crazy. And I've never seen that car driving around town. I wonder if they imported it from somewhere, maybe South America, maybe Cuba, and where they've got all
You
those
know,
old
I,
cars.
I I still have a bad habit to this day when I'm driving that I developed from learning to drive and driving for years in a very long, about 19 and a half foot car.
Yeah,
When I pull out into traffic, you know how you'll pull out making a right turn and cars are coming the other way?
right.
I tend to, even when I'm in my little tiny car, I cut my wheels too short and I catch the curve with my back wheel because I got so used to doing that when I had that giant car. And I still, no matter what car I'm driving, I do it every time.
So that's your excuse for that poor driving habit that you have, huh?
That's exactly what I do. I tend to, in my head, I'm still driving that giant car, and
Hmm. I had a '98.
I turn too sharp.
Do you remember that? You weren't really around much when I had that '98 Oldsmobile, that big silver one with the
I
red
remember that one.
seats. Yeah, and so that
It
was
had
pretty long.
red
But
upholstery.
yeah, it had nothing on this Cadillac I saw though,
Yeah.
but still nice long. And I like that car, but
Mhm.
just finally got to where I needed another car. So
Yeah.
when you have kids, you just kind of Of
Yeah.
course, we could keep them in the trunk on that. They would have fit right in there, but we didn't. You know what I've got here, Ron? I've got a fashion statement for the
All
holidays,
right.
a fashion point to discuss.
Okay.
Ugly sweaters. Those. How long have they been around? Have you got a
That's been
Christmas?
a thing for a while. Yeah.
Have you got a Christmas tie?
Uh, yeah, somewhere. I just never wear ties anymore. It just never comes up.
I've got two. Well, I'm going to wear ties here in the next few weeks because I've got Christmas ties, and they only are appropriate for a week or two out of the year. I've got two of them, and one has Rudolph like jumping off, trying to fly,
Mhm.
and he's jumping off a cliff, and he's falling all the way down the tie, which is a pretty good
Yeah.
one. and the others just got a sled and Santa Claus and snow on it. And they're
Well, I have
both
some cool ties now. My favorite one is one that's uh, it's the main color is red, but it's not all red. It's like the on the body of the tie. It looks like a crayon drawing that like a little kid drew. It's very cool. I mean, you almost don't see it at first, and you go, "Oh, it's like a kid's doodle on your tie." But yeah, and I don't even know where that came from. It's a really cool looking tie. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah.
another one I like is I have a Bugs Bunny tie.
Oh, I have a Bugs Bunny tie. Maybe you
Let's
gave it
see.
to me. I don't know. I've got a Punisher tie, the Punisher
Yeah,
comic book character that
that's
I
funny.
that I get to. I rarely get to wear it, but I wore it. I've worn it twice in the
Yeah,
last year, and so if it gets cold and I got to dress up, I like to wear a tie because it actually makes me a little warmer to
yeah.
have the button and the tie on, and of course you can't see the top of it because unless if I let my beard get long, but
And
right now,
I have a couple of ties that have um, like uh, endangered animals and stuff on them. I
hmm
forgot where I got those. It was like a series of ties. Yeah, the ties I've had for. Luckily, I got them in the '90s where it was kind of a normal width for ties.
you're right. You can always get
And
away with a
so
normal width.
so my ties will be good forever. They're just a classic width.
Yeah,
So I mean,
you know,
and they're all silk, so they all look great. So
I think we've almost evolved into a discussion of ties. That might not be a bad subject for us
yeah,
since a lot of people don't wear ties now. That was a tie thing, but
I used to wear a
boomers were
tie
probably
every
the
day
most
to
religious.
work when I worked at
Yeah.
ad agencies and stuff like that.
Oh, I wore one when I was teaching, and I will occasionally wear one to a track meet.
Yeah.
And and when I was teaching some college classes, I always wore a tie, and I had a couple of years when I was doing that. And as a result, I have quite a collection of ties. And I can't bear to throw them away. They're too good. They're
Oh,
too
I know.
good.
I've got about
They look
40.
too
Like
good.
I said, they're all silk and they're gorgeous,
Yeah,
and they'll
yeah.
last forever,
Can't give those things
Yeah.
away. Well, yeah,
But,
if you rotate them,
well,
them.
that makes me think about another subject that I've thought about before. And actually, Brother Randy has mentioned this before, and it is a good subject. Um, when you were talking about ties, I was thinking about, like kids now that would find it hard to believe that basketball coaches, not too many years ago,
Oh yeah,
wore suits and ties, and they
yeah.
don't
That
anymore.
was no. They
Football
wear
coaches used to wear coats
they wear
ties.
sweatshirts now. They wear
Yeah,
sweatshirts.
they
Tom
make them wear
Landry.
NFL brand stuff. They won't let them wear ties anymore. And I remember
Oh,
Mike Ditka said he started wearing a tie because it kept him calmer. He tended not to go as nuts when he was wearing a tie.
oh, I didn't. When I was coaching basketball, which I did for a few years, I would get all upset and take my tie off and just tear it off and just unbutton it, just stand there holding my tie the rest of the game. So it was just the opposite for me. I was better off if I didn't have a tie on, but I
but
generally wore one.
But like going to the subject, I was talking about Randy and I were talking about is um, things that are just gone, that are gone forever, that used to be
Yeah,
just normal and stuff that we did like typewriters and
I did
just
not.
all kind of different stuff. Stuff's
I
just
didn't.
gone.
I didn't know they outlawed wearing ties in the
Yeah,
NFL.
yeah.
You can't do it. Can't you wear a
No,
tie under the?
it's a rule. You have to wear NFL apparel.
Couldn't you wear a V-neck sweater and or NFL
It would
V-neck
have to
thing
be
and
a
wear a tie?
tie that had it's they're just trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Couldn't you wear a tie that has NFL stuff on it?
I don't know. I don't know if the tie itself is, but nobody sure wears them. I mean, they all wear
No.
that. The NFL approved stuff. They probably have certain things they're supposed to wear. You know.
Well, if I'm ever coaching in the NFL, I'm going to wear a tie. That's all I got to say. NFL just better get ready because I'm coming and I'm going to be wearing a
I
tie.
thought coaches looked great when they wore suits and stuff. I
The
mean,
guy in
like
charge,
like Tom Landry with the hat and
sure, Bear Bryant in the hat.
yeah. I mean, Bear and the people can't. I mean, kids now probably can't even get a frame of reference for that. why is all these people wearing a houndstooth hat? Or they don't even know what a houndstooth is anymore. Why are they wearing that stupid looking hat that looks like Ted Knight from Caddyshack or whatever?
Have you seen the commercial where the guy's apparently a brand new Alabama fan and he's standing along the line where the players are coming and he's going, "Rise Tide!
Oh yeah,
Rise
I can see
Tide!"
that. Yeah.
Players are looking at him like, "What's wrong with you?" Hey, I've got a Christmas. So you don't have a Christmas fashion thing or any kind of fashion thing?
Nah, just the same year round anyway.
Yeah. Hey, I like your Fantastic Four robe though.
Oh, thanks. That's my fashion statement today.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Because
That could get
Fantastic Four
popular.
is fixing to be big again in the next year or two with the new movie coming out.
If it's a hit, somebody may make a statement. And nobody will want to go to it.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
not.
Go. You're going.
Pedro Pascal, he tends to not do that, so I'm kind of feeling.
You're hoping, huh?
Yeah, I'm hoping he's usually pretty cool.
Good.
And everybody else in it's kind of like that too. So we'll see.
Got a song of the week?
No, not really.
I got one.
All right.
I've been the Christmas spirit.
Okay.
Holly Jolly Christmas.
All right.
From the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer
I can
special.
hear Burl Ives right now.
Yeah, Burl Ives, written by Johnny Marks, who also wrote what?
I have no idea.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
All right, then.
Johnny Marks, they got the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer guy in to do the music, the special music for the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer television special, which used to come on every year. Now I think it probably comes on 12 or 13 times a year on all kinds of different channels, and we watch it on DVD.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of that?
I don't have a DVD copy. I have old VHS.
VHS copies. Well, it's on.
We bought a
It's on
Christmas set
YouTube.
years ago, but
Oh, hey, it's on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can.
60 years old this year. It was 1964 to 2024.
It's a year older than me.
Yeah, so I think just about everything's out of copyright. It's in the public domain, and you can just put it anywhere. But it's on YouTube along with the other specials that came along.
A bunch of the good ones are on Amazon Prime as well.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, like
well,
Frosty
I mean, anybody can pick them up.
And some of those I noticed.
But which one now?
Frosty the Snowman is Amazon Prime.
Frosty. Well, there's one little there's probably more than one that somebody's put together on YouTube, and it's about 4 hours worth of Christmas special. It's got Rudolph on it, and it's got Frosty the Snowman. It's got it's got not all of them, but a lot of the cartoon type things that you remember from when you were a kid. And so it's great. So anyway, that's my song. Burl Ives. I don't know what kind of hit it is. It's me, and the reason I picked it, Holly Jolly Christmas, is number one. It was unique to that special.
Yeah,
and also because Johnny Mann wrote it, and I like to give him Johnny Marks. I'm sorry, wrote it. And I like to give him plenty of publicity because he deserves it. I mean, you wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Holly Jolly Christmas. Come on,
pretty good.
That's
pretty good Christmas resume there.
Oh, every year, and probably his family for a while got it. I guess by now probably all the money's run out, but but I don't think you get any money. Well, wouldn't you say that Holly Jolly Christmas is maybe I know everybody says that Mariah Carey song, but over the last 50 years, isn't Holly Jolly Christmas probably the most popular Christmas song there is?
It's one of them.
I mean, I'm fond of it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
That's a good one.
Burl Ives always sounds so happy when he's singing it.
Jolly fellow.
He was a jolly guy. Anyhow, Ron, number 48 in the books. I hope it works out. Of course, we shot it once, and Ryan fell apart. I hope it doesn't this time.
No, you're good.
Okay, good. Well, hey, folks, thanks. Those of you who made it through this for listening to Boomer Bongo Boulevard. We'll have another year of content. We'll have it out here for you. And we're going to probably start putting together some shorts too, right, Ron?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. So see you next time around.
All right.